Marty's been involved in the commercial real estate business since 1974. His firm, MH Realty Associates Incorporated, has been established since 1980. His activities have included the development, purchase, and sale of shopping centers and office buildings. He has been a co-founder of 10 charter schools. We'll talk about that. And has been extensively involved in the business operations of charter schools since 1996. He has written articles for Thompson Financial First Call and the School Report News on charter school facilities. He is a member of the Republican Executive Committee of St. Lucie County 912, and treasurer of the American Coalition for Property Rights. He's been a member of the Heritage Foundation President's Club since 2000. And in 2011, Florida Governor Rick Scott appointed Mr. Gotz to a position on the St. Lucie County Independent Fire District Board of Commissioners. He has lived in Florida since 1950, and as someone that lived in Florida for 17 years, that is really a long time. Most people in Florida have not been there that long. He's married and has 4 children. Go ahead.
Thank you. You know, after visiting with Catherine, it just brings back fond memories of what we went through. Let me get my PowerPoint to work here, if I can find. There we go. Okay. Now hit play, right?
Sure.
Okay. AC for PR, by the way, was best explained as an organization of individuals. This was about 15 of us that formed a task force to fight this after we found out about it. And of course, the first thing is the plan. Well, the plan is always the plan. It's the same plan. You can be in China, you can be in California, you can be in Florida, you can be in Minnesota, you can be in New Hampshire. They're going to plan on going, because regionalism is, there are 11 regions that they are trying to produce and just squash us down. We've been arguing a lot about this 750 because after we beat them in the 3 counties, and we were successful in beating them in the 3 counties, we wanted them to change it to 450. Now, this isn't rocket science to win. You're doing a lot of these things right now. Catherine's doing a great job on what she just went through. But basically, it's simple strategy. You know, identify, create a coalition, organize to win, get your facts together, drill down, find Catherine, educate the public. That's a big key, and we'll get into that further. And influence your officials. Obviously, they're making the final vote for you. So what's your strategy? I'm sorry?
Which part of Florida?
Part of Florida? This is, we are about halfway between Orlando and Miami. The 750, and that's a good point. 750 is 7 counties in 50 years. That was their plan. And that starts from Monroe County, which is the Keys, in case you don't know Florida real well, all the way up to Indian River County. So that includes Martin, Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, Monroe, Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, Martin, St. Lucie, and Indian River. And of course, our strategy was how we were going to take action against this. We were just as green as anybody else when we started. And what we were doing is we were having the county commission, which is our focus in St. Lucie County, was to get our county commission to opt out. Because all of these plans have memorandums of understanding that they sign with each of the different cities and counties and groups. And they get these cities and counties to sign it because the MOU tells them of all the goodies they're going to get and extra points for being on the plan. So we defined our success as getting the county commission of St. Lucie County to opt out of it. That was our goal. And again, we knew who the decision makers were. Obviously, there were the 5 county commissioners, and we knew some of them. And so we felt we had a pretty good shot to start with. Decided how, you decide where you're going to start pounding. In other words, depending on what issue you're fighting, you might be at the state level, county level, or city level. We felt the county level was very appropriate because Indian River County, the county north of us, with a group of activists up there led by Phyllis Fry, were able to get Indian River out. Fortunately, one of our guys in the 912 group Tea Party, went to a meeting up there and brought Phyllis down, so we started to form coalitions. And of course, again, you focus on one official at a time. Especially in Florida, because if you have two, you're in violation of the Sunshine Law. Right? That's right. Wow. Most important, don't do this by yourself. I mean, form coalitions. We were very fortunate. We had Indian River come down. We also had the Liberty groups join on with us. We had the REC. I mean, we all grouped together. And if you try to do this by yourself, you're just going to get run over. You just don't have enough time, enough energy, and enough. You can't cover all the bases. So organize it like a business. Let me catch up. Identify the best people in your groups. Once you have a coalition put together, you know, some people are great researchers. We probably had, out of the 14 people, 9 researchers. And they went in depth. I mean, we know where Andres Duani lives. We know what time he leaves his house. I mean, these guys were drilling down further than you can imagine. But you don't have to drill down far to understand that this is an ugly plan. So as we got beneath the surface of it, all these different things came out. And basically, as we were trying to talk to the public about this, we would say to them, look, start researching the plan, because once you research and get drilled down a little bit, you're going to find you really don't like this thing. Media relations, we were a little slow on that. We couldn't get any. We pounded the the St. Lucie County Board of County Commissioners for 5.5 months. You know, in the public to be heard start beginning of any publicly noticed meeting, they had 5 minutes that they were giving each one of us. But when it started, there were about 2 of us, maybe 3 of us. Within about a month, there were 20 of us. Now, when you take up an hour to an hour and a half, because I think the most we had were 27, and understand, we didn't have 27 people in our group. We had outsiders who were viewing this on TV as we were fighting this, county commission after county commission, and we had people getting up there to speak that we'd never even seen before. We didn't know where these people came from. But from a media standpoint, I would make a suggestion. I also have a radio show now, and radio shows really are not that difficult to get. If you go to a local talk radio show, they will give you an hour on a Thursday. Mine happens to be between 6 and 7 on Thursday evening. It's on WPSL Radio 1590. It's the talk of the Treasure Coast. And it's a nice little show, but it's a way to get the messages out. I mean, that's the biggest thing we have to do. Educate the public, and you need to get the message out to do that. Public speakers. Catherine, you were very fortunate. I mean, we were reading Wendell and we were reading Randall. All of our researchers, I believe, have read everything you have ever written. I'm getting emails from especially the libertarians on an ongoing basis. You've got to read this, Wendell Cox. You've got to read this, Wendell Cox. I mean, the information is out there. You can find how to fight this. And this game plan now, from a standpoint, Peter is in the phase of he's offensive. This is kind of reactive to what's going on. Catherine has the opportunity to be proactive. And the earlier you catch this disease, the better chance you have of taking it out. Obviously get your letter readers and speech writers going. Fundraising. We had a pretty good run against HUD and EPA and their funding. They funded the consortium that was against us with $4.25 million. And that was for a 3-year plan to do the planning for this. We basically passed the hat, and we had about $367.86. Right. But we still came out on top. Find out who the neighborhood contacts are in each of the different areas. There's always an activist in each of your different communities. Find out who that activist is, start with him, and hopefully he will branch the message out to the other people within his neighborhood. Talk to your neighbors and get them to talk to their neighbors. So we did our research, and the internet, as Wendell has mentioned ongoing, is a wonderful place to get research. You can find anything you want. We got financial statements. We got, you know, just everything you want to get out of the government. You don't necessarily get everything though. sometimes there are things you might want to get. So is everyone familiar with a FOIA request in this room? I see everybody's head. Anybody not familiar with it?
With a what?
FOIA request, Freedom of Information Act.
Yeah.
This is, you can find them online. Now, a lot of times with a FOIA request, you're looking for specific information, and you need to put that in the form. But you need to be aggressive with these things. For instance, the Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council was the planning council that tied up with the South Florida Regional Planning Council to form the consortium to do the planning for 750. So I really couldn't get their financials necessarily online, but that wasn't what I was looking for. I was looking for their checkbook. So I made a FOIA request to the Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council. I wanted all their checks with who it was paid to, what the amount was for 2 years. Very simple. Now, I did the same thing with the South Florida Regional Planning Council. I got the checkbook for the Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council. And when you ask for their checkbook, believe me, they begin to pay attention. South Florida Regional, stonewalled. But requested early, and also understand that if I wanted to go after the South Florida Regional Planning Council, I could now, because they're actually in violation. I've sent them 2 letters requesting the information, and they've stonewalled me on both of them. So there is a downside of them not responding to you. You need to know what that downside is. You need to make them aware of it, and then you need to find an attorney to go ahead and pin them. Educating the public. This is something that we've all talked about. How do you get the word out? You know, this is the most difficult part. You know, inform the people around you, speak at your HOA meetings, you know, invite subject matter experts. We were very, very fortunate. As we got towards the end of this, how many of you know Rosa Corey? Rosa's done extensive writing and on this and presentations that we got online. We brought Rosa Corey in from California. I'm sorry?
Santa Rosa, California.
Is Santa Rosa?
She's in the Bay Area.
Yeah, I think she's up in the wine country there at some place, isn't she? So we brought her in as a culmination as we were going in to get the vote at the St. Lucie Board of County Commissioners. So you can time these things up pretty well if you can. Like I said, we were pounding the county commission. We were also involved in talking to our cities. And one thing, let me just mention, yes, we got Indian River County, St. Lucie, and Martin County out. And we also got the 3 biggest cities in each of those counties, which is Vero Beach, Port St. Lucie, and and Stewart in Martin County, all opted out. They went down like dominoes as we get started. Set up a, consider videotaping your meetings, and you'll see why in just a minute. Set up a website and a Facebook site, which we were kind of slow on getting, but we have it up now. It's ac4pr.org. You can get all of the information, the speeches we made to the county commission, all of that's on that. So if you're going to fight, you need some ammunition. We've got some ideas. You to work up your own. Create a distribution list, and that distribution list is an internal distribution. Communication within your organization is very important so that the people within your group know what you're doing and you can work as a team. Like we would send something out, county commission meeting, wear red. So we all had the same color on when we went in there. Many times they circulate petitions, we did not. Obviously we tried writing articles to local newspapers and got stonewalled. And cultivating media support is good. If you've got some people who've been working with the media, the local newspaper writers or radio shows or even TV show hosts, you can probably get some things moved along. This is why you videotape. This is Andres Duani in a May 17th meeting of the Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council. Sit back and enjoy. I am. And this was cut down. This was 5 minutes. We had to cut it down to 2.5 for this.
And fascism, you can say what you like, but it's efficient. And fascism, you can say what you like, but it's efficient. Okay, you've heard of globalization. In globalization, what is falling out is the nations. The nations are less important. What are falling out are the cities, except unless you're a very large city, the cities become unimportant. What is effective are the regions. And then there's bottom-up government, in which everybody gets to come up and talk forever about anything. It's a distortion field. Okay? All of you can secede all you want to Orlando, which seems friendlier. But they haven't got anything going in Orlando except possibly good government. And of course, the Germans have arrived, the French have arrived. You know, they're reforming the educational system from top to bottom. They're not going to put up with American education. And what I would urge you to do is that whatever we do here, and partially it's due to us, whatever we do here, that it be done fast. Here about the mega regions that are in formation. Okay? These mega regions, any one of these can throw an election in Washington, any one of them. When you can throw an election, they'll pick up your phone at the State Department. You know, we don't need to have more public meetings like this. We should just finish the thing, and you should pass it. Okay, that's what should happen. Okay, you should just trust us and pass it. To be effective, this plan has to transcend the local and transcend the temporal. And fascism, you can say what you like, but it's efficient. You know, we don't need to have more public meetings like this. We should just finish the thing, and you should pass it. Okay, that's what should happen. Okay, you should just trust us and pass it.
Well, we didn't
And
trust it.
fascism, you can say what you like, but it's efficient.
This is why you video, because every once in a while you catch something like that, and you can get, I think on our website, ac4pr.org, I believe that Pete has the whole thing up, which is this 5-minute clip, and actually the whole, I think it was an hour and a half he went on this May 17th meeting of the Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council. I mean, we had the peanut gallery filled, and understand that Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council do not raise people. So I had one of the members who I know come up to me and says, you know, we've never seen that many people in there. So we all happened to be in there when he was going through this, and we're taking notes and everything else, and couldn't believe it. By the way, they were also videoing it, and we couldn't get a copy from them. I just saw the dark areas because it was dark in some of the things he was doing. So that's precious. Contacting your representatives. Very quickly on this, they keep count. They keep count if you send letters. They keep count if you make phone calls. If you're in their district, they pay a lot of attention to you, even if you're out of the district. You know, like I said, 5 to 10 calls, they're concerned. They get 50 or more calls and letters on a subject, they begin to panic. So you can apply pressure that way. Internal pressure, external pressure. That's what you need to put on the public officials. Obviously, write to them, send them letters, emails. And politicians, I guarantee you, will always tell you what you want to hear, unless they're non-governmental agencies. They'll just tell you to go pound salt. So they'll always tell you what to hear. The key is that politicians only understand 2 things, and you see what the pictures are up there. It's votes and it's money. So if you haven't got money, you get the crowd together and show them that they're going to lose their votes. Winning. As they say when you go in, and I'm sure if Wendell's gone in before any of these votes and everything else, you want to know what your votes are before you go in. Otherwise, you're in trouble. So you need to do that by closely monitoring the public discussions, the discussions that are being made up on the dais to see what's going on. And we had some real surprises. I can't go into these stories, but there were great stories with all of this. We had our one-on-one meetings. We had an ex-county commissioner that came with us, and we utilized her to go in for we have 2 Republicans and 3 Democrats on this board of county commissioners. So we had this one commissioner who had a relationship with one of the Democrats that was on the commission. So we knew we had 2. We had the 2 Republicans, but we were having trouble getting a 3rd vote. So we sent her in to try to work on that, and that's a story unto itself. Obviously, we relayed our point of view, and most important, don't ignore their staff. Staff is very important because they're the gatekeepers. If you make friends with staff, you're going to find out a lot more information and get maybe some things you shouldn't know. And also you're going to gain a little bit better access, make sure that your information is passed through. So always be nice to the staff. They're the sweethearts. Don't kill the messenger. Close the deal. As you can see, this is our picture on November 7, 2013. They had made a final vote in St. Lucie County Board of County Commissioners. So you can see, obviously, we're very happy. It was a 4-to-1 vote to get out of 750. They opted out according to their memorandum of understanding. You'll note that all these seats are basically filled up, and you'll see some seats that have been brought in. The real key to getting these things done is you have to fill the hall. Whatever the size hall it is that you're going to, that the county commission meets in, you've got to be able to pack that with as many people. So what you do is you go in and you count the seats. You make sure you know how many people you need to put in there. Then you just get warm bodies. Pick up people off the street. You know, hire a mob or something. As long as they're sitting there and they're wearing a color red or something, the people on that dais don't know the difference. And by the way, 30 days after this, December 7th, Martin County opted out. Their people came up and started working with us. We formed a coalition. We went down, helped them. They came up, you know, filled with us. In fact, we have a great coalition now between the 3 northern counties. And this young lady down here, this blonde lady here with her hands crossed, you know what that means. She should have been a little PO'd because basically she had just lost a $144,000 a year consulting contract. And needless to say, she wasn't very happy with it. No one breaks the law, law more than the government. That's already been discussed. You know, staff will tell you anything they think, and sometimes they just lie. In fact, maybe most of the time they just lie. It's a bad, bad situation we're in. Our government has run away from us. So research, you know what and point out where they're breaking the law. How do you even the playing field? Well, I think one of the ways is we have to cut off their blood supply, which is their money. And so to do that, you know, your state governments, your federal governments have all of these RFPs that go out. Well, put together a group that can respond to some of these RFPs. Eliminate the money flow down to the progressives. We can get in there. We have just as many experts as they do, and we can do some of these things. So find out how you can respond to the RFPs at your state, city, and even federal level, and start chopping away at that bloodline of money. If you can't do it that way, then contest the spending. Go after them. You know, if you've got an attorney, you know, if you've got an attorney like Peter, maybe you can get him to bring the point across, or take it on yourself. Just say, you know, why are we spending this money? Where's the economic analysis? Which they never have, is an economic analysis. Use some of the things that they've used against us. You know, legal challenges through the Environmental Endangered Species Act. We're doing that right now in all aboard Florida. As a matter of fact, today I just got word from my wife that the EIS for all aboard Florida, which is the spine that would have been, you know, part of the pack and stack along the track, their EIS has just come out. They've been delaying it for probably 3 months. So we'll find out how benign it is and where the problems are. Make sure that the economic impact statement is also looked at. And if you can find something that's environmentally dangerous, point it out. Have fun with it. This is the last slide, so I don't know how much time I got left. Okay?
Negative but bad.
Negative, okay. I'm negative, so I'll be quick. Have fun with it. You know, government dislikes you looking over their shoulder at every single level of government. We felt ourselves that we can't really have an impact on federal government. We can't have an impact on state government. But we can have an impact on our county government because we know those people, we've gotten them elected. And we can definitely have impact on our city governments. So start looking over their shoulders. There's a lot of problems right down in all those levels. It's the same problems we're seeing at the top, you'll see at the bottom. So if we can start to clean up the bottom, even as Andres Duani says, you know, it can be a grassroots to start from the bottom up. Because the people who sit on that dais in your cities and counties are going to be sitting in the state and potentially up at the federal. As responsible citizens, it's your job. It really is. The Constitution requires us to look after our government. That's why we were supposed to be a republic. as they say, when the people fear the government, you have a tyranny. When the government fears the people, you have a republic. So it's our job to go out and do that. And this is never ending. Be responsible, be diligent. It's going to tire you out a little bit, but you can have fun with it if you've got a coalition of A-type personalities who are willing to run it with you. Thank you. Yes.
One